Hello, and welcome to Pilgrim Lutheran Church and School's virtual Sunday School. This week, we are going to read from Matthew 25 and hear a story about the 10 bridesmaids. And as I read this story, a song comes into my mind, and that song is This Little Light of Mine. So as I read, you can read along with me, and then we'll talk about what you hear as you listen to the story. The 10 bridesmaids, Matthew 25, verses 1 through 13. Are you ready for God's kingdom? Jesus asked his disciples. The disciples looked at each other. They hoped they were ready, but what did Jesus really mean? Before you answer my question, Jesus said, listen to this story. It will help you understand. The wedding was soon. 10 bridesmaids rushed around to get ready. They counted their oil lamps, 10, one for each bridesmaid to light during the party. The 10 bridesmaids packed their 10 oil lamps. 5 packed extra oil to make the lamps shine bright all night. 5 forgot their extra oil. All of the bridesmaids waited and waited and waited to light their lamps, but the groom didn't arrive. The moon rose in the sky. The bridesmaids began to yawn. They were sleepy. Loud shouts woke the bridesmaids from their sleep. The groom is here. Let the party begin. 10 bridesmaids jumped up to light their lamps. 5 bridesmaids marched into the wedding party with lamps shining bright. But 5 bridesmaids ran out of oil and their lights burned out. Give us some oil for our lamps, they begged. But the 5 bridesmaids with extra oil wouldn't share. Run home and get some. Hurry, they said. 5 of the bridesmaids weren't ready. Jesus said, they missed the whole party. Always be ready for God's kingdom to come. So we'll stop for a second there and say, what does this mean? So when I think about that song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine, what light are we talking about? We're talking about the light that's within our hearts, the light that we bring into the world, which is why I chose the background that I did for this week. That is the sidewalk outside of Pilgrim, and it's decorated by some of the students and church families that came together to bring a little bit of light into our teachers' lives by thanking them for all of their help. And this was done on the day when they were able to come back into in-person learning from short virtual learning time. So that's bringing light to other people. Everybody who showed up that day, they were letting their light shine, which was wonderful. So do our lights always shine? I know mine sometimes can get burnt out, and it happens a lot of times. And that's even where the term burnt out comes from, is when our lights are diminished. So for example, does anybody know what it means to be hangry? It's the combination of the word angry and hungry. So I know that when I don't eat, sometimes I can get a little bit hangry. And I'm not really angry at anybody. It's just that because I haven't given my body the right nutrients, I'm not feeling at my best. And the same can happen with things like sleep. Has anybody ever gotten a little cranky when they're tired? I know I have. So those are some ways where when we're not taking care of our light, which is ourselves, we are letting our light burn out a little. And then rather than bringing light, sometimes we're bringing a little bit of hangriness or crankiness or other things into the world. So it's very important that if we are going to be ready, that we need to be taking care of ourselves. So things like getting enough sleep and eating, we talked about for sure. But if you remember last week, we also talked about the truth setting you free. And so that also is a very important piece of making sure that you're taking care of your light and taking that time whether it's every day or once a week, but being intentional about having some quiet moments where you reflect for yourself and pray and to meditate and to practice forgiveness and to practice confession and to practice asking for light to be brought to you and to others who may need it. And so that's how you can always be ready, by taking care of yourself and to making sure that you are not letting your light burn out, that you are letting it shine. Thank you for joining this week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.